A man stood in the middle of his backyard at 2 a.m., hammer in hand, tears streaming down his face. He was building a tiny house, not for a person, not for a dog, but for a rescue cat he once swore he would never love. This is his story. My name is Robert. I'm 58 years old, retired military. I spent 25 years serving my country. Discipline, order, control. That's how I lived my life, and I liked it that way. No chaos, no surprise, definitely no animals inside my house. My daughter Emma is 24. She still lives with us while finishing her degree. She has a heart too big for her own good, always bringing home strays, birds with broken wings, lost dogs, once a turtle. I told her every single time, no, take it back. We are not keeping it. Then came that Tuesday in September. I came home from my morning walk. The weather was turning cold. Rain was coming. I walked through the front door and stopped. Right there on my favorite leather chair was a cat, not moving, just staring at me with one eye. The other eye was missing. Its ear was torn. Its fur was patchy and dirty. It looked like it had lost every battle life had thrown at it. I yelled for Emma. She came running. Before I could say a word, she started talking fast. "Dad, please just listen. I found him behind the grocery store. He was bleeding. Someone hurt him. The shelter said they would put him down because nobody adopts cats that look like this. Please, Dad, just for a few days." I looked at the cat. The cat looked at me. I felt nothing. No connection, no sympathy, just annoyance. I told Emma 3 days, that's it. Then he's gone. Emma named him Captain. I don't know why. He didn't look like a captain of anything. He looked like a survivor of a war he never signed up for. The first week was exactly what I expected. Terrible. The cat hid under the couch. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't come out. At night, I heard him crying. Soft little sounds. Pathetic sounds. I told myself I didn't care. Emma did everything. She sat on the floor for hours, talking to him, reading her textbooks out loud so he would get used to her voice. Slowly, Captain started to trust her. By day 10, he was sitting in her lap. By day 20, he was sleeping on her bed. But with me, nothing. He would freeze when I entered the room. His one eye would go wide with fear. Then he would disappear. I told Emma again, that cat is terrified of men. Probably because a man hurt him before. He deserves a home where he feels safe. I am not that home. But something started to shift. Small moments, tiny cracks in my wall. One night, I was sitting in my chair reading. Captain walked into the room. He stopped at a distance. He stared at me for a long time, maybe 2 minutes. Then he slowly walked closer. Not to me, just near me. He sat down 3 feet away. We stayed like that for an hour. Neither of us moving, just existing in the same space. This started happening every night. He would come a little closer each time, never touching, just being there. I found myself waiting for him. I would sit down and wonder if tonight would be the night he sat next to me. Then came the night everything changed. It was 3 a.m. I woke up suddenly. Something was wrong. My chest felt tight. My left arm was numb. I knew the signs. Heart attack. I tried to reach for my phone on the nightstand. My hand wouldn't move properly. I knocked the phone to the floor. The sound was loud in the quiet house. My wife sleeps deeply. She didn't stir. I tried to call out. My voice came out as a whisper. The room started to spin. I thought, this is it. This is how it ends. Then I heard something. Scratching. Furious scratching at my bedroom door. Loud meowing. Not the soft cries I heard that first week. This was desperate, urgent, the sound of an animal fighting for something. The scratching woke my wife. She opened the door. Captain shot into the room like a bullet. He jumped on the bed. He started pawing at my chest. He was screaming. That's the only word for it. This tiny, broken cat was screaming. My wife understood immediately. She called 911. The paramedics arrived within minutes. They said I was having a major heart attack. 10 more minutes, and I wouldn't have made it. I spent a week in the hospital. When I came home, everything was different. Captain was waiting at the door. The moment I walked in, he ran to me. He rubbed against my legs. He looked up at me with that one eye, and I felt something I never expected. Gratitude. Deep, overwhelming gratitude. From that day on, Captain was my shadow. He followed me everywhere. The kitchen, the bathroom, the garage. He sat next to me while I read. He slept on my feet while I watched TV. The cat, who was terrified of men, had chosen me. Emma noticed. She smiled but said nothing. My wife noticed. She squeezed my hand and whispered, "I told you so." The neighbors noticed. The old military man walking his cat on a leash in the backyard. I started thinking about Captain's life before us. Someone hurt him. Someone looked at this gentle soul and chose cruelty. And still, after all that, he saved me. He didn't hold on to his fear. He didn't let his past define his future. He chose love. That's when the idea came to me. It started small. Just a thought in the back of my mind. Captain deserved something special. Something that was just his. I have a workshop in the backyard. I've always been good with my hands. I started drawing plans at night when everyone was asleep. A tiny house. No, a tiny home, built just for him. I didn't tell anyone. Not my wife. Not Emma. This was between me and Captain. I would go out to the workshop after dinner and work for hours. I insulated the walls so he would be warm in winter. I installed a small window so he could watch the birds. I painted the inside a soft blue because I read that cats find that color calming. I found tiny furniture online, a miniature couch, a tiny rug. I framed a photo of the two of us and hung it on the wall. I carved his name into a small wooden plaque, Captain. Not the name Emma gave him, the name he earned. It took me 3 months, every night, every weekend. My hands ached, my back hurt. But every time I looked at Captain watching me from the workshop door, I kept going. The night I finished, I stood in the backyard at 2 a.m., hammer in my hand, tears streaming down my face. I had spent my entire life building walls, emotional walls, keeping people out, keeping feelings locked away. And this little broken cat had torn every single one of them down. He didn't just save my life that night. He saved my heart. The next morning, I gathered my family in the backyard. Emma was confused. My wife looked concerned. Captain sat on my shoulder like he always did now. I pulled back the tarp covering my 3 months of secret work. Nobody spoke. Emma's hands went to her mouth. My wife started crying. There in front of them was a perfect, tiny house, air-conditioned, carpeted, with a little porch and a little door. And above the door, a golden plaque that read Captain's Quarters. Emma ran her fingers over the plaque. She turned to me with tears in her eyes. "Dad, you said you didn't want him. You said he had to leave." She was right. I did say those things. I was wrong. I knelt down and placed Captain gently on the little porch of his new home. He sniffed the door. He looked back at me once. Then he walked inside, curled up on his tiny couch, and closed his eye. He was home. Finally home. What I didn't know was that Emma filmed the whole thing. She posted it online that night. By morning, millions of people had watched it. A tough military dad crying over a one-eyed rescue cat. The comments poured in from every corner of the world. Stories of people who had been saved by animals. Stories of healing. Stories of second chances. Captain's past is a mystery. I will never know who hurt him or why, but his future is certain. Every morning he walks with me to get the newspaper. Every afternoon he naps in his tiny house while I work in the garden. Every night he sleeps on my chest, his little heart beating next to mine. I spent my career protecting my country. But in the end, a broken little cat protected me. He taught me that love is not about perfection. It is about showing up. It is about trust. It is about looking at someone with all their scars and choosing to stay. If a one-eyed stray cat can learn to trust again after everything he suffered, then so can we. Forgiveness is possible. Healing is possible. Love is possible. Sometimes it comes on 4 paws. Sometimes it has a torn ear and a missing eye, but it comes. Today, Captain's quarters sits proudly in our backyard. Children in the neighborhood come by to see it. Emma brings her friends. My wife takes pictures. And me? I just sit on the porch of my own house and watch Captain sit on the porch of his. Two old soldiers, enjoying the peace we fought so hard to find. So if you are watching this and thinking you could never change, you could never soften, you could never love something you once rejected, think again. Think of the military man and his one-eyed cat. Think of the tiny house built with tired hands and a grateful heart. I want to leave you with this. There is an animal out there right now, sitting in a shelter, waiting. Maybe they are old. Maybe they are scared. Maybe they are missing an eye. They don't need a perfect home. They just need a chance. And you might think you don't need them, but one day, in a moment you never see coming, they might just save your life. Thank you for watching our story. If it touched your heart, please hit that like button. Subscribe to Dog and Cat Universe Hub for more incredible stories of animals changing human lives. And tell me in the comments, has an animal ever changed your life? I want to hear your story. Until next time, be kind to every creature. You never know which one is an angel in disguise.